that the Westbrook City Council hereby authorizes the enclosed contract with Maine Justice of Wyndham, Maine, at an hourly rate not to exceed $75 per hour, and in no event for more than 30 hours per week.
Thank you. It's been moved by Councilor O'Hara, seconded by Councilor Chow for approval of order number 2016-91, authorizing a contract with Maine Justice. Any questions or comments from the council? Any questions or comments from the public? Ms. Shangri, if you could just please come to the podium and state your name and address for the public.
Deb Shangro, 752 Main Street in Westbrook, and you knew I had to say something on this. Bill Baker's back in town, I guess. The only thing I'd like to say is I'm a little perplexed with this position, and I'd like to have the public receive more information on the steps taken to fill such a large position. I understand that this is temporary. I haven't had time to review the contract, so I don't know how short temporary is. We have another gentleman that was hired part-time, I believe. I'm not sure if that's long-term, but when Mr. Baker announced that he was leaving this position, there was some time to look to fill this position. And that was back in, I think, April. I'm not sure how long our administration knew that he was leaving. To now have two people fill one position for whatever cost that is, and if it's temporary and we're talking 3-4 months between the two, and when this all levels out in a fiscal year, maybe we're not spending more, but it leaves us so discombobulated in the process and the services that this position should fill. And of course, we just had a recent article about a building that Bill was working on to fill, and a deal that may or may not happen now. I'm not sure where that is, but I think it just would behoove our administration and our council members to inform the citizens a little more. This is a huge position with a lot of money that goes out, to tell us exactly what's going on. We don't need to know if it's an employee situation. Obviously, we're not asking for details on employee situations. But if it's a contract situation and we're not going to fill this, or what is the goal here? Did we not have pre-planning when we knew Mr. Baker was leaving? Because someone in the administration must have known a few weeks before he gave notice. There was a pre-planned notification for the public and to go and speak on his behalf. So I guess I was shocked to hear that this was happening. I know that it's a position we need to be filled. I'm working on the Downtown Westbrook Coalition, which is doing some awesome things, and we have the participation of the city and the WIC program, which for those of you that don't know, do have city funds. But it just concerns me that so much, I came here to actually speak on something else, which I will later, but it concerns me that so much is managed in, and I don't mean to be derogatory, but it appears a haphazard manner. And I don't think that that's a great thing for us to do with so many big positions that are hanging in the balance here, with a lot of work that's hanging in the balance. So I just ask that we get a lot more information, excuse me, ahead of time rather than as it comes out. And I'm assuming his company is DBA maybe, or forming, or is it long-term, short-term? So if we can just get some more information, that would be really helpful. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Shangro. Is there anyone else from the public who wishes to speak? Mr. Transmontane?
James Transmontane, 639 Duck Pond Road here in Westbrook. I also own a business in the downtown as well, and I am here today to urge this council not to approve this contract. Mr. Baker has brought numerous shame to this city during his time here, and you can almost look at a track record from his time as in charge of the police department, where we're undoing so much of the stuff that he did then and taking a way better approach to building our community and the sense of our neighborhoods, and actually getting the police involved with businesses and citizens. And it was a lot of what Bill Baker established during his time that didn't work. He was never designed to be an economic director, having sat on many of business groups for the city and how to build the downtown, it's very clear that he has no business insight. He's never held a job. He's never made payroll. He's never, not held a job, excuse me. He's never owned a company. He's never made payroll. He's never had employees. When you hear him talk, he doesn't even understand the single foundations of what it takes to run a company, you know. So those qualifications alone, he doesn't handle. His time here was horrible for Westbrook. You can drive up and down your downtowns. You don't see any change. It looks exactly the same way that it looked when he started. And in fact, in many ways, it's worse with the companies leaving. He didn't keep disability RMS here. You can go back and look at all the articles written in the American Journal that said he was flying around, he was going to take care of it. It didn't happen. They're talking that this company's going to come in. Nobody with any sort of branding or marketing experience would say, yeah, we're going to announce a deal before it's finalized. That was a death sentence to this company. The company didn't want to have it announced because they hadn't done, actually both companies didn't want to have it announced because they hadn't had a deal in place. And nobody in the city should have announced that deal. And that's a huge impact to the city, to the tax base, and to the local businesses. Bill Baker doesn't shop in the downtown. He doesn't even live in the downtown. It was a poor position all around. And when you read the contract that you have right now, it doesn't hold him to any sort of accountability. And they're asking him basically to come back and help out and do his job. Well, for 6 months, what's he going to walk away with? Almost $60,000. You don't even have to know what he's doing. Read your contract. He can just basically bill the city, and the city's going to cut him a check. We already know how the city's finances are going recently. We hired a guy interim, another one of the mayor's friends from the healthcare industry, who doesn't even have any sort of economic development skill sets. Probably a very smart guy in the health field area, and I'm sure he is. If you read his LinkedIn page, he's done very well. He hasn't walked down the streets. He hasn't met any of the businesses. He didn't even go to his introduction meeting at WIC. And WIC was supposed to approve his salary, and WIC never approved the salary. WIC was also suddenly told, like, hey, this is the guy. He's going to handle everything while we hire something. And now here we are a month later being told, oh, no, we got to bring old Bill back. This doesn't read well. This is the type of stuff that's going to end up in the papers. It's going to end up on TV. And once again, our city is going to sit there and look dumb out of it. Mayor Hilton has consistently had an inappropriate relationship with Bill Baker. And this is nothing more than her just hiring her friend back
James,
because he couldn't.
If we could please be respectful.
I am being respectful.
You're not being respectful.
I'm totally being respectful. I think when you are privately emailing people back and forth, ripping on citizens, that's an inappropriate relationship.
James, we're not here to discuss that.
I'm showing a track record, and we're going to keep going. Please don't interrupt me.
We can keep going, but I'm asking you to please be respectful.
I am being respectful.
Spoke very respectfully.
She did.
And provided respectful.
This is what you guys do. James gets up here and you just try to interrupt me and try to make a track record of making me look.
Because it's speaking in public is
I
a
am
very
speaking in
intimidating
public. I don't have a
process.
speech here, and I'm not going to be insulted by you. No, I'm not being disrespectful. I'm going to sit here and tell you that if somebody is emailing back and forth, ripping on our citizens, ripping on a teen center, that's an inappropriate relationship.
Okay,
Go back and pull Bill Baker's file. He signed a paperwork that said what his email protocol was for, and he broke it. So that's inappropriate.
I'm asking you to be respectful.
I am, and I'm asking you not to interrupt me. One sentence, and you've interrupted me.
Because you were not.
I don't think it's inappropriate. We'll agree to disagree, but don't sit here and try to cut me off.
If you want to continue
I'm gonna
respectfully,
continue.
I'll let you continue. Otherwise, I'm going to ask you to sit down.
I'm not going to sit down. Again, now, if you go back and look at Bill Baker's company, Main Justice, there's no .com built for it. It's not filed, so there's no S-Corp, there's no LLC. Did you guys go and do any research on this company, or are you just going to take it in blind faith that it's true? He left to go work for Barry Dunn. He has right now currently saying that he's working for Barry Dunn. Is he? So is he working for Barry Dunn and working for the city? Now if this contract gets approved? Did anyone go ask that question? This contract is a bad contract, and the city's going to look bad if they take this contract on. And you can say, oh, James is being James, and I'm sure you guys will trash me. It's pretty much protocol. But I'm asking the few counselors up there who believe and have heart to do the right thing and table this thing to a further meeting so you can actually go answer these questions. And you should try to figure out where he's working right now. You should try to figure out if his company is established, and you should try to hire this track record to see if he can do the job, because there's a track record that proves that he hasn't done the job. Thank you.
Is there anyone else from the public who wishes to speak this evening? Seeing none, any final questions or comments from the public? Mr. Bryant.
I'd like to respond to